right, good morning, everyone. Welcome to a hearing of the Committee on Energy and Environmental Protection. It is Thursday, March 21st at 9:30 a.m. We have one bill on this agenda. We're in room 325. First on this agenda, Senate Bill 2122. This is the extension of the energy efficiency portfolio standards, and first up to testify is consumer advocate.
Morning, Chair, Vice Chairs, members of the committee. My name is Michelangelo. I'm the Executive Director, Division of Consumer Advocacy, as part of the Department of Commerce and Consumer Affairs. We stand on our testimony providing comments, we stand on our testimony supporting this bill, available for any questions. Thank you.
Thank you. And the Hawaii State Energy Office.
Good morning, Chair Lowen, Vice Chair Cochran, and members of the committee. Gail Suzuki-Jones with the Hawaii State Energy Office. We stand on our written testimony in support of this bill. Thank you.
Public Utilities Commission.
Good morning, Chair, Vice Chair, members of the committee. My name is Grace Ralph, testifying on behalf of the PUC. We are in support of this measure and would be happy to answer any of your questions. Thank you.
HECA's Building Decarbonization Task Force, Paul Bernstein on Zoom, not present. Hawaii Energy. In person.
Good morning, Chair, Vice Chair, Chester Carson. On behalf of Hawaii Energy, we stand in our written testimony in support. I'm here for any questions. Thank you.
Thank you. Ulupono Initiative in support.
Good morning, Chair, Vice Chair, members of the committee. Micah Munikata here on behalf of Ulupono Initiative. We'll send in our testimony in support of this measure. Thank you.
And then Blue Planet Foundation.
Good morning, Chair Lowen, Vice Chair Cochran, and Rep. Peruso. Jody Robinson with Blue Planet Foundation. We'll stand on our testimony in support. Thank you.
Thank you. Then we have additional written testimony from Hawaii State Climate Commission in support, Hawaii Green Infrastructure Authority in support, County of Kauai Energy Coordinator in support, Hawaiian Electric in support, Democratic Party of Hawaii, 350 Hawaii Solar Energy Association, and one individual, all in support. Is there anyone else here to testify on this measure? If not, members, questions? All right, if not, we'll recess for decision-making, and we'll come back and do decision-making at the end of the 10 o'clock agenda. So we'll do all the decision-making at the end of all three agendas we have today. So recess. Our 9:31 a.m. agenda. We'll get started on resolutions. It's, again, Committee on Energy and Environmental Protection, Thursday, March 21st, 9:31 a.m., conference room 325. And first up, we have HCR 212 and HR 192. This is urging the Department of Health to investigate and implement policies to reduce the importation of products, packaging, and materials containing perfluoroalkyl and polyfluoroalkyl substances into the state. And first up to testify, we have Board of Water Supply.
Good morning, Chair, Vice Chair, and member of the committee. My name is Kathy Mitchell with the Board of Water Supply. We stand on our written testimony in support of these resolutions.
Thank you.
Thank you.
And then we have a submitted written testimony from the American Chemistry Council with comments and support from Greenpeace Hawaii and two individuals. Is there anyone else here to testify on this measure? If not,
Sorry.
Oh, go ahead.
Dave Mullix here. Sorry. Dave Mullix, Greenpeace Hawaii. We stand in strong support of this resolution. Forever chemicals are everywhere, and we need to start getting a handle on them. I just want to thank this committee, Rep. Peruso and Lowen and Cochran, for your efforts to protect our climate and our environment. You guys are on the front lines, and without you, we'd be in serious trouble. So just thank you so much for your efforts, and please pass this resolution. Thank you.
thank you. If there's no one else here to testify, members, any questions? All right, seeing none, we will move on to the next resolution on the agenda. This is HCR 213 and HR 193. This is requesting the Hawaii State Energy Office to convene a renewable liquid fuels working group to study local production, development, and incentives for renewable liquid fuels. And first up to testify, we have the Hawaii State Energy Office.
Good morning, Chair, Vice Chair, member of the committee, Monique Schaefer on behalf of the Hawaii State Energy Office. We stand in support of this measure. We did add one additional line item that just allows us to invite members. So we request that amendment. Thank you.
Thank you. And then we have Alaska Airlines in support.
Aloha Chair, Vice Chair, members, Jacob Aki on behalf of Alaska Airlines. We stand on our testimony, but did want to note that we did propose three changes, and we are here to answer any questions. Thank you.
Pono Pacific in support.
Chair, Vice Chair, member of the committee, Chris Bennett on behalf of Pono Pacific. In strong support of this measure, we stand on our written testimony. Would just like to point out that we have been actively working on local feedstock for about a year, and we've made a lot of progress, and we feel like we'd be a good addition to the committee. Thank you.
Thank you. And PAR Hawai'i in support.
Good morning, Chair, Vice Chair, and members of the committee. Eric Wright from PAR Hawai'i. As the committee is aware, we're embarking on a project at our refinery. We're going to make SAF and renewable diesel. That'll be online next year. So we think it's important that we have a seat at the table on this committee. We'd also support Pono Pacific and Pacific Biodiesel being on the committee as really important voices in renewable fuels in Hawaii. And the only other thing I'd point out is that there's been a lot of work done in the past by the State Energy Office and others. We cited some reports in our testimony, and we feel very confident that the working group can wrap up its work before the next legislative session. So we would just move forward the date in the working group. Thanks.
Thank you. Let's see, Airlines Committee of Hawaii. Lori.
Good morning. Laurie Lim on behalf of the Airlines Committee of Hawaii. We are in support of this measure and would like to request an amendment also to include a representative from the Airlines Committee of Hawaii be invited to participate in the working group. We represent both the domestic and international carriers, and sustainable aviation fuel initiatives are a priority of our industry. Thank you.
Thank you. Hawaiian Airlines in support.
Hi, good morning, Chair Lowen, Vice Chair Cochran, members of the committee. My name is Alana James. I'm the Managing Director of Sustainability Initiatives at Hawaiian Airlines. We stand on our testimony in support of this measure, and we did have one recommendation in our testimony, and that was a request to modify the timeline. We do believe there's a lot of interest in this topic, a lot of willing participants for the working group, and a lot of interest in seeing recommendations before the next session. I'm here to answer any questions. Thank you.
Thank you. We have additional written testimony from Hawaii Farm Bureau in support, Hawaii Gas in support, Airlines for America in support, Island Energy Services in support, and Pacific Biodiesel in support. Is there anyone else here to testify on this measure? If not, members' questions. Quickly for Energy Office, just on the timeline question, what are your guys' feelings on it? Would you rather keep what's in there now, or make it?
I think it would be wise to keep where it's at right now, just given our capacity as an office and how much work we do have ongoing. I think, we do want to recommend things, from the decarb report for next session and carry that over, but there's a lot in there to sort of digest, so that additional time would be much appreciated.
Got it. Thank you. If no further questions, members, we will move on to the next resolution. HCR 120, HR 101, requesting the Public Utilities Commission to order Hawaiian Electric to continue to deploy and pursue community-based renewable energy projects. First up to testify, we have Consumer Advocate.
Chair, Vice Chair, members of the committee, Michael Angelo, Executive Director, Division of Consumer Advocacy. We stand by our written testimony providing comments available for any questions. Thank you.
Thank you. And the Public Utilities Commission.
Good morning, Chair, Vice Chair, members of the committee. Anand Samtani with the Public Utilities Commission. We stand on our written testimony with comments. I'm available for any questions. Thank you.
And then we have Hawaii Green Infrastructure Authority in support, Elemental Accelerator in support, HSEA in support, Solar United Neighbors in support. Is there anyone else here to testify on this measure? If not, members, questions? Okay, then we will move on. Next resolution on the agenda, HCR 35, HR 24, requesting University of Hawaii Economic Research Organization to conduct a study on scope 1, 2, and 3 greenhouse gas emissions. And first up to testify, we have University of Hawaii on Zoom.
Aloha, Chair, Vice Chair, and members of the committee. My name is Kimberly Burnett, and I'm here on behalf of E0, the University of Hawaii Economic Research Organization. We provided comments on this measure, and I stand on our written testimony. Here for questions. Mahalo for the opportunity.
Thank you. And then we have Democratic Party of Hawaii in support, HAPA in support, and 3 individuals in support. Is there anyone else here to testify on this measure? If not, members, questions? I guess I have a question for Kim at UH. Do you know, because I emailed Department of Health, but did not, just yesterday, and didn't get a reply yet. I'm not sure if they break down scope 1, 2, 3 in the GHG inventory. Are you familiar with whether they already do that?
Actually, they don't. That was part of the testimony that should the legislature seek kind of that comprehensive overview of the emissions landscape, the current 2005, 2018, 2019 Hawaii greenhouse gas emissions reports that were led by McKenna Kaufman, they provide a detailed inventory of Hawaii's emissions, but they don't break it down into scopes 1, 2, and 3 directly. So that would be kind of a new comprehensive project that we would need to look at a budget for. I should take the opportunity to point out that UHERO relies on philanthropic donations, contracts, and grants for half our budget. So if we were to do a new study like this, we would have to ask for further funding to support the research.
And right now, that's done through contract with Department of Health?
The current one was done through a contract, yes. Okay. And the data was federally, from federal data, not from the state. So it would be an entirely new project.
Okay. Okay, thank you. Oh, Rep. Prusa, go ahead.
I have a quick question for you, Hero. So you did mention in your testimony the 2005, 2018, and 2019 reports, but I'm wondering if you can talk a little bit more about what it would look like for you folks to distinguish between the state's direct and indirect activities. Like, what would you be examining?
Okay, yeah, so typically for scope 1, 2, and 3, these inventories are more appropriate for institutions, such as a specific business or agency. So, 1 is direct, 2 is indirect, and 3 are kind of these induced emissions. And so we would require data from the state, which we haven't ever gotten before, to look at this. The approach that were taken in the previous studies were kind of looking at the whole of Hawaii as a system rather than separating like state government as a particular department or entity. And so if we wanted to look specifically at the state's contribution in these 3 scopes, we would require, those kinds of direct data from the state itself.
Okay, thank you. Thank you, Chair.
Thanks.
Thank you.
Any further questions, members? All right, seeing none. Next on the agenda, we have HCR 197, HR 177. This is requesting the Attorney General to file a lawsuit against big oil corporations for climate damages to the state and engage a third-party law firm that has expertise in this legal area. First up to testify, there's only one person signed up testify on Zoom, and that is Dave Mullenix.
Aloha, nice to see you. Dave Mullenix, Greenpeace Hawaii, the largest environmental organization in the world, but actually with 3 million members internationally. We stand in strong support of this. We all know that big oil has been poisonous for decades, and they've known it, and they've hid the information. So I think this is an excellent step in the right direction just hold them accountable. So please pass this. I know you folks are very aware and very akamai on what's been going on. And thank you so much for your ongoing efforts. Mahalo.
Thank you. We have additional written testimony from Democratic Party of Hawaii, 350 Hawaii, and one individual, all in support. Is there anyone else here to testify on this measure? If not, members, questions? All right, seeing none, we will move on to the last resolution on this agenda. That is HCR 153, HR 132. This is requesting the Department of Health to conduct a feasibility study on the implementation of continuous monitoring and sampling technologies in waste combustion facilities and municipal solid waste landfills. And first up to testify is Department of Health.
Good morning, Chair, Vice Chair, and committee members. My name is Marianne Rossio from the Department of Health. The department stands on its written testimony offering comments, and we're here if you have questions. Thank you.
Thank you. And next is Covanta on Zoom. Fraser Blaylock.
Yes, Chair, Vice Chair, members of the committee, thank you. I also stand on my testimony submitted on behalf of Covanta Energy. One point I'd like to make is that the HR 153 states that the technology at our waste energy facility at H Power in many cases is obsolete or inaccurate, and we object strenuously to that. We also note that the resolution calls for the evaluation of technologies that have been approved by the EPA, which then is in stark contrast to the 23 pollutants criteria that are listed here, which are not technologically available or approved by the EPA. So thank you very much.
Thank you. And then also on Zoom, Dave Mullenix.
Aloha, Dave Mullix, Greenpeace Hawaii. I think Mike Ewald, who's an expert in this field, has submitted lots of testimony in opposition to what we just heard. And I think that the very beginning, whereas is here, the waste combustion facilities are among the largest sources of industrial air pollution. And in many cases, the current technology used to monitor in this state is obsolete and fails. That this is actually true. The accurate data of this type of mountain pollution being emitted aren't being continually monitored. We actually don't know what we're being poisoned by because we're not testing for it. So it's essential that we know. And I don't understand why anyone would object to having the ability to test for things that are dangerous to us and our life. And so without knowing, we're being poisoned unknowingly. And so it's important that we pass this resolution. Thank you so much. I'm sorry for my stuttering.
Thank you. And then we have additional written testimony from one individual. Is there anyone else here to testify on this measure? All right, members, questions? I guess Department of Health. So this resolution is requesting that you conduct a feasibility study on implementation of continuous monitoring and sampling. I mean, is a whole feasibility study really necessary, or can you speak to the feasibility of doing it?
Well, we did some preliminary research based on the previous bills, and we provided that in our testimony of what we preliminarily found out. But we don't have the expertise on feasibility studies. We don't know all the different technologies or the availability or reliabilities or operational feasibility or financial feasibility, including the cost and how it would affect users or the public. So those type of things, we haven't researched and we don't have experience on.
Okay, but you regulate emissions from this facility already, so you have some expertise on it. I mean, it's the Clean Air Branch.
Yes, we are familiar with the four SEMs and those four pollutants that are being monitored in that sense. But there's different technologies out there that we are not familiar with. We don't use or we don't require, as well as how much they cost and their reliability. So those things we don't have experience in.
Okay. I don't know if that's I'm not quite sure. I feel like that's a valid answer. I mean, I think if there's concerns about pollution and you're the clean air branch, it's, your job to understand new technology and testing that's available out there.
Yeah,
Whether you have staffing to do it yourself or not is another question. I guess I'm just asking, the way that this reso is written is requesting DOH to conduct a feasibility study on doing this, and to me, it's like we should either direct you to do it or not do it, or direct you to consider requiring, H-Power to do it themselves or something like that. But I don't know if that feasibility study, it would be a normal way to go about deciding whether to require additional testing requirements or not.
well, I mean, we did look into it with the bills again, and then we did provide our testimony and what we had found out in what we had researched. And, our concern is the quality of the data, that we want to make sure that, we understand the increased logic of increased monitoring, but we want to ensure the quality of the data to assure we're accurately assessing impacts to public health. And so from what we found, two things are necessary: the EPA-approved methodology and the performance specs, which ensure quality. And we haven't been able to find, or we've only been able to find 2 of those pollutants in that list of 23 that have both of those. So that's our concern, our major concern with implementing continuous monitoring.
Well, is it you could do continuous monitoring of pollutants that to be present. I mean, the list of the things is separate from the timing of the testing. The list of the things to be tested.
I'm not sure I understand the question, because.
Sorry, I thought I just heard you say that that your concern with continuous monitoring was that you weren't sure that all the things being requested to be tested for were even pollutants that would be present in any of H-Power's emissions, and I just was struggling to see the connection.
No, I'm sorry, that's not what I meant. I'm sorry about that. Of those pollutants, for quality of the data, we want to make sure that we have EPA-approved methodologies and EPA-approved performance specs, which ensure the quality of the data. So out of the list of 23, to have both of those, we only found 2 of those pollutants that have that, mercury and particulate matter. So our concern is the quality. If we use methods maybe out there, but they might not have EPA approval, or they might not have performance specs that are approved, and to use that data to impact, to assess public health impact, it would bring up the question of defensibility of the data, and so we want to make sure that we have quality data, and so that's our concern, is that we want to make sure that whatever pollutants we're testing for, they have EPA-approved methods and performance specs, and that's kind of what we were trying to show in our testimony, that our large concern is the quality of the data.
Are you aware if there's other states that have waste-to-energy facilities that do more extensive testing than we do here, and that they would presumably have tested technology?
We have researched that somewhat. We have seen mainly mercury, but also, we did find that 2 facilities in Florida that had mercury SEMS, the Department of Environmental Protection allowed them to stop using the SEMS because they were comparable to stack tests. So there's studies that show different things, but beyond that, we haven't found many facilities that, use these pollutants that they do continuous monitoring or sampling.
But what do you test for? You test for mercury?
We do.
Okay.
We do. We test for, we require testing for 4 of the pollutants on this list with continuous monitoring. And then we also have stack tests for, I believe, an additional 9 or 10 of these pollutants.
And how often, for, say, the mercury, how often is it tested?
So the mercury is an annual stack test that's required.
You do 1 test once a year on emissions at that point in time?
There is, yes, that is the requirement. It's 1 test once a year. Okay. We do have a ambient air quality station in Kapolei that is between the facility and the Kapolei neighborhood. And it's an end-core station that monitors for 9 of these metals, and that is a continuous once every 3 days sampling. So we do have that as well, that you can evaluate
Now, I
ambient
would
air
think for
quality.
pollutants you know are possibly present, like mercury, that also have serious impacts that you would test more often than once a year. I mean, does the facility know the day the testing is happening in advance?
Yes, I believe the facility arranges for the testing, yes.
Okay. Members, further questions?
Yes.
Go ahead.
Hi, thank you. So I guess deducing that money really is the issue here. You're talking about $100,000 request to hire, I suppose, outside expertise to do this feasibility study, and you feel this $100,000 will affect the governor's budget, hence why, you know, one, you're saying you don't have the expertise to do, two, if you don't get the money, then you simply just can't do it.
Well,
Is
it's also that we're, short-staffed. A significant amount of our efforts have been towards the Maui wildfires since that has happened. So we are short on resources, as well as, we do have a number of vacancies. So we are short-staffed in taking care of our regular duties.
Okay, and then at the bottom of your testimony, a sixth MSWLF is going through permitting. Is that the landfill on Maui for the debris removal?
I would have to double-check. I believe it's on the Big Island.
Okay. You folks are having oversight on what's happening on Maui?
We are actively monitoring. In Lahaina, we've added over 50 sensors, and also in Oluwalu. And then we've also had in Kula as well.
Okay. Yeah, oh, thank you. I still think that it could be done here, but.
Any further questions, members? All right, if not, we'll recess. And we'll do decision-making after the 10 AM agenda. Recess. All right, good morning. We are back for a joint hearing with the Committees on Energy and Environmental Protection and Committee on Transportation. It is Thursday, March 21st, 10 a.m., Conference Room 325. We have one resolution on the agenda today, HCR 51, HR 40, requesting the Hawaii Climate Change Mitigation and Adaptation Commission to develop vehicle miles traveled reduction strategies and make related recommendations. And first up to testify is the Leah Laramie Climate Commission.
Aloha, Chair, Vice Chair, members of the committee. I'm Leah Laramie with the Climate Change Mitigation and Adaptation Commission. We stand on our testimony in support of this. We had additional comments just pointing to several of the resources that the commission has already developed, and I'm here for any questions. Mahalo.
Thank you. And Office of Planning and Sustainable Development with comments. Blue Planet Foundation.
Good morning, Chair Lowen, Chair Todd, members of the committee, Jody Robinson with Blue Planet Foundation. We stand in support of this resolution. Thank you.
And Ulupono Initiative.
Morning, Chair Lowen, Chair Todd, members of the committees. Micah Munikata here on behalf of the Ulupono Initiative. We'll stand on our testimony in strong support of this. We do have one recommended change. It's in that be it resolved, section 1. It currently says develop vehicle miles traveled strategies. We think it should say develop vehicle miles traveled reduction strategies. Thank you very much, Chair.
Thank you. That's all the testimony we had submitted in advance. Is there anyone else here to testify on this measure? Seeing none, members, questions? Rep. Onishi, go ahead.
Okay, for the Climate Change Commission. So I looked at the makeup of the commission, and there's only one transportation I consider expert, which is the director for Department of Transportation. So why would this particular resolution or this particular issue, I guess, be given to you guys instead of to an organization or a working group or a other entity that is more transportation-based?
Yeah, thank you for the question. While Department of Transportation is the only one that's transportation-focused, a lot of the other departments really look at transportation. Department of Health looks at the health impacts of transportation. There's safe routes for schools within that. The Energy Office within DBED also looks at transportation and how we can decarbonize our economy. Also, we have all 4 counties on the commission, and all of those 4 counties also deal with various transportation issues as well. So we're coordinating.
Well, the counties are planning departments, not their highways people.
They coordinate with the county folks. They coordinate within all of the different county divisions. Right now, we're working with.
Well, I don't know if I would agree with that in terms of, I've worked for the county. I don't necessarily believe that's true, where the planning department is going to coordinate for the entire county.
Currently, within climate change things, we are, there's always room for improvement. Just for an example, within our application for the EPA's climate pollution reduction grants, we're working with Hawaii County, Kauai County, and City and County of Honolulu on various transportation projects to reduce the transportation impacts and VMT reduction on those. So they've been able to connect us with the various transportation agencies within the counties.
But doesn't it make more sense if we're going to be doing a development of vehicle miles traveled strategies, recommended state vehicle miles traveled reduction, recommended benchmarks for evaluating progress, that it should be something more transportation oriented in terms of this mandate to how to reduce miles traveled?
Yeah, I defer to the legislature on how you would like to guide it, but I do think that there's more to transportation than just the transportation heading. It's how it impacts communities and how it adjusts to our everyday lives.
Okay. Thank you.
Thanks. Any further questions, members? If not, I think we can go straight to decision-making on this one, and then we'll go back to the earlier EEP agendas. So if everyone's ready, decision-making on HCR 51 and HR 40, we're going to make a few amendments. So we're actually going to add language to include DOT to work with the Climate Commission, both in the title of the reso and also in the body. We will add a few to the list of who the reso will be submitted to, and then we will take Ulupono's initiative to add the word reduction. I think that was kind of a typo. That's all the amendments. Members, any discussion? If not, Vice Chair, please take the vote.
Voting on HCR 51, Chair recommends to pass with amendments. Chair and Vice Chair vote aye. Representative Gates is excused. Representative Kahaloa is excused. Representative Peruso. Aye. Representative Woodson. Aye. And Representative Ward is excused. Chair, your measure is adopted.
Thank you.
Okay, Transportation Committee, same recommendation following the chair from EEP's recommendation to adopt, and we will be passing with amendments. Chair and Vice Chair voting aye. Representative Ayu. Aye. Representative Evslin.
Aye.
Representative Kitagawa. Aye. Representative Miyake.
Aye.
Representative Onishi. Reservations. Representative Matsumoto is excused. Chair, your recommendation is adopted.
All right, we're adjourned. Are we good? Reconvening the 9:30 a.m. agenda for decision-making on SB 2122 relating to energy efficiency portfolio standards. So all we're going to do on this measure is just redefect the date to the year 3000 so that we have a House draft and move this forward. Members, any discussion? Seeing none, Vice Chair, please take the vote.
Voting on SB 2122 SD1, Chair recommends pass with amendments. Chair, Vice Chair vote aye. Noting excused absences of Gates, Kahaloa, and Ward. Any members present voting with reservations or noes? Seeing none, Chair, your measure is adopted.
Thank you, and we are adjourned. Being the 9:31 a.m. agenda for decision-making. Lots of banging the gavel. First up on this, we have HCR 212, HR 192. This is the PFAS reso. On this, we're going to move it forward as is. Members, any discussion? Seeing none, Vice Chair.
Voting on HCR 212, Chair recommends to pass with amendments. Chair, Vice Chair vote aye. Noting excused absences of Gates, Kahaloa, and Ward. Any members present voting with reservations or noes? Seeing none, Chair, your measure is adopted.
Thank you. And then HCR 213, HR 193, we had many organizations testify that they would like to be added to the list of members. So what we're going to do here is take Hawaii State Energy Office's suggested amendment to allow them to add others to the working group as invited by the chair. So you guys can all go talk to the Energy Office. Those are the amendments. So members, any discussion? If none, Vice Chair, please take the vote.
Voting on HCR 213. Oh, I should mention the second version too, right?
You can vote simultaneously. 213 and HR 193.
213 and HR 193. Chair recommends to pass with amendments. Chair, Vice Chair vote ayes. Excused are Gates, Kahaloa, and Ward. Members present, any noes or reservations? Seeing none, Chair, the measure is adopted.
Thank you. And then HCR 120, HR 101. This is requesting the PUC to order Hawaiian Electric to continue to deploy CBRE projects. We're going to pass this forward as is. Members, any discussion? If none, Vice Chair.
Okay, voting on HCR 120 and HR 101, Chair recommends to pass as is. Both Chair, Vice Chair vote ayes. Excused are Gates, Kahaloa, and Ward. Current members present voting aye with noes or reservations. Seeing none, Chair, measure is adopted.
Thank you. For HCR 35, HR 24, this is a discussion of the scope 1, 2, and 3 greenhouse gas emissions, so identifying who's responsible for them. We're going to amend this, so instead of UH, the reso will direct Department of Health to consider including this in their annual greenhouse gas inventory, so then they could work with UH, I guess, to determine if that could be part of the contract to work on the GHG inventory. With that, members, any discussion? If not, Vice Chair, please take the vote.
Voting on HR 24 and HCR 35, Chair recommends pass with amendments. Excused are Gates, Kahaloa, and Ward. Members present voting with reservations or noes. Seeing none, measure is adopted.
Thank you. And then HCR 197, HR 177, this is directing Attorney General to file a lawsuit on fossil fuel companies. We're going to move this forward as is. Members, any discussion? Seeing none, Vice Chair, please take the vote.
Voting on HCR 197 and HR 177, Chair recommends to pass with, as is. Both Chair, Vice Chair vote ayes. Excused are Gates, Kahaloa, and Ward. Members present, any reservations or noes? Seeing none, measure is adopted.
Thank you. And then finally, we have HCR 153, HR 132. I'm going to move this forward as is with a couple notes in the committee report. One, just mentioning, not quite clear if funding for a feasibility study to look at the viability of testing of pollutants for the clean air branch is really necessary, or if just considering the feasibility and need for additional testing should just be sort of part of what they do already. Well, we'll note that in the committee report. And then also just a comment, I mean, DOH left, but I think it seems a little shocking to think they only test one time a year for a pollutant like mercury. I think at the very least something like that should probably be happening more often. But otherwise, we'll move forward as is. So any discussion, members? Seeing none, Vice Chair, please take the vote.
Okay, voting on HCR 153 and HR 132, Chair's recommendation pass as is. Chair, Vice Chair vote ayes. Excused are Gates, Kahaloa, and Ward. Members present, any reservations or noes? Seeing none, the measure is adopted.
Thank you, and we are adjourned.